This is a story of desperation, trial, and error, and really a life gone too soon. And as always, this is just for friends. To the Missouri State Fair, just like a lot of people do around where I grew up. And in the summer, it's fun to go see all the animals and the rides and really just get all of the excitement in, get some of the pineapple ice cream that they serve that I love. So we're walking around and we're visiting some of the stables where they keep all the animals, and people actually show them and win prizes. So we're walking around and we see this kid, and he's messing with this rabbit that he has that he probably just got done showing. And I walk up and I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's its name?" And he goes, "You don't name what you're gonna eat." And I was like, "Holy crap!" I mean, I never thought about them really eating them, which I'm not against. It was just more of not something that I took into consideration when I saw these cute rabbits in cages. So I asked the kid if I can buy his rabbit. He ends up settling on $15, which for me was a lot of money because that meant it was like 14 McDoubles when I was in college. But when we're taking that rabbit home, I'm really excited. I want to get it back. I want to show it to my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, Erin, and actually surprise her with it. So when we get inside, I ask her to put a blindfold on and we set her in this chair. And I'm like, "Hey, I got something for you. Put your hands out." And she just goes, "I hope it's not a rabbit." And I was literally so caught off guard, and I didn't know what to do as I'm holding this cute rabbit in my hands, and I'm about to hand it to who I thought was an excited person that really cared about animals. Come to find out, Erin's not really into rabbits, or really any other pet for that matter. It wasn't something that I'd really thought through, that we now have to take care of this being. So what I did was I rallied with my friends. Steven Jenkins was one of those people. We came up with a name that we thought was fitting for the rabbit, and we called him Good Eats. So not only from the show Alton Brown, but also because that kid was going to eat him if we did not rescue him for that $15 price tag. We get him a really refined cage. It was almost a palace. He would live in that on our deck, and we go out and feed him carrots and let him run in the yard and things like that. One of the craziest parts, though, was that we found out early on that he could actually squeeze through the bars in his cage because he was a little rabbit. He was still a pretty young pup at that point. He could squeeze through, and we'd come outside and we'd actually be trying to find him, and he'd be running around in the yard. So we scoop him up, we put him back in the cage, and that happened over and over and over. So one day it was actually raining outside, so we put a tarp over his cage, and we just left it overnight, and we thought everything was going to be fine. So the next morning, I'm getting excited. I'm going to go out and see Good Eats, and Erin's actually with me at that time, and we're going out, and I throw back the tarp, and what do I find? Good Eats, stiff as a freaking board. He's wedged himself between the wire cage, and he's now crushed his ribs to where he can't breathe, and he's been like that for all night. So at this point, he's completely dead.
Like deader than dead.
And I try to avert Erin's eyes, but you can see the glow and excitement that she no longer has to put up with this animal, and I am just devastated. I'm trying to keep her contained. I'm trying to figure out what do I do next. We're all pretty much in dismay. At that point, I have a few options. First, I need to figure out how to get this rabbit out of the cage. Second, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with him. Am I going to cremate him, put him in an urn on our mantle? Am I going to bury him in the backyard? Or am I going to give him a funeral pyre like they did the bird on The Office? So option one, I need to take care of first. So I flip the cage up on its end, and the rabbit is sticking straight up, and I have to look Good Eats right in the eye. And the only thing I can do is hammer fist him like Brock Lesnar would do to Frank Mir and try to push him back through the cage. He hits the bottom, I scoop him up, we end up wrapping him in swaddling clothes and putting him in a box. Next thing I know, we have to bury him. So we put him in the finest spot in our backyard, right next to the horseshoe pit. Our friends would always actually threaten to dig up Good Eats and put him in a box and give him to Erin for her birthday. It hasn't happened yet, but if you live on Hillcrest Street in Warrensburg, Missouri, there's still a chance that Good Eats is there. Honestly, Good Eats really brought us together, and it's just another story we have from college where it all kind of bound us to something, even though it was life and death. I would say that without Good Eats, I might not even be where I'm at today. I might not be married. I might not have the kids that I have and this extraordinary life that I live in Omaha, Nebraska. So I'd like to give a shout out, celebration, if you will, to the man, the myth, the legend, the hoppiest of hops, Good Eats. May God rest your soul.
I will